Hello there, and welcome to Paris Set Me Free, Paris Photo Tutorials. And I'm going to show you two photographs, this one and this one. This was the choice I left myself, and I'd like you to decide which you like best, because that's what I had to do. This one or this one. Obviously I had a lot more and eliminated the rest. And also, do you know where it is? In the background you can obviously see some sort of church, and this is obviously a statue that has been well used by our pigeon friends. Well, let me show you where it is. If we go to Google, here's Paris. I live down here towards the bottom, well, a bit further down actually. Now we're going to go here to the center of Paris, so they call it the left bank. I always get confused, but I pretty much believe it's the left bank. We're zooming in here, there's one of the islands. Okay, we're going in further, and we'll start to see, oh look, there's a little camera, and it says Café de Flore, and that's where we're going, more or less. There's the church, Saint-Germain-des-Prés. Okay, so you can keep zooming in there, giving us some information we don't want. Abbey, it calls it, Abbey Saint-Germain-des-Prés. We're just going to go down to Street View, put the little guy there, and I should be able to show you where we are. Right, there's the church. We're going to go, you can see it there. Very beautiful church. It seems like it's out of one of the provinces and should be in some sort of town in the UK or something, but there it is in the middle of Paris. Alright, let's just wander around there. You can see it again. And you can see this. There it is. Lovely church. And you can see that there's this little park here. So I'm going to try and go as close as I can to this little park. There's a Christian Dior boutique there, which I've also taken in photographs many times. And there you can see that the little park with the church here, and on this pedestal, which you can't really see very well. No, it doesn't let me go there. There's a pedestal hiding behind there. Is, in fact, this guy. I think it's a guy. And so, as I said, I had to choose between these two. And my choice was rather difficult, because if you look at this one, as well as it's rather nice, because look at this one, is the person's head. The statue's head is down in the bottom right, and this is up in the top left. And look at the curve here of this, almost perfectly echoes the curve of the jaw there. With a curve there as well, but I mean it's not exactly the same, because that's a lamppost and this is a statue, which is fair enough. You've got these branches nicely framing, to an extent, the head here, and this nice diagonal. It's really a perfect diagonal going across those corners there, with the background slightly fuzzy. So that was tempting. This one, on the other hand, is has less elements, and in a way it's stronger for that, because you're concentrating on this one statue. You haven't got all the other elements which take the focus off the statue. Here the interest of the picture is the interplay between the statue's head and the lamppost, and these compositional elements come into play, the diagonals, the framing of the head by the branch, and so on. Whereas here it's a much purer shot. You're really, in this shot, far more than the other, you can start to imagine yourself inside the head of this statue, as though it were a real person pondering its fate of being stuck in front of this old church, acting as a pedestal for pigeons to poo on. And what I must admit, I enjoyed imagining was that these trails of pigeon crap, pigeon poo, were actually tears running down his cheeks. Look at the way they follow the curves of the forehead into the eye, but then from the edge of the eye coming down, curving over the cheek on both eyes like this, almost like tears. And it's wonderful. Look at the expression as well, this kind of it's either expressionist or it's rather resigned, I like to think. A resigned, poor old statue trying to live up to its to its unwanted fate in front of this church decade after decade. The final result is this. Now you can see that I've done a couple more things. Not going to go into all the exciting details of those because it's up to you to play around yourself to decide what you think is best, but what I think you'll realize I've done principally is made it monochrome. Monochrome means only one color, and that color ranges in brightness from pure white, because if you go to maximum light all the color disappears and you have white, to zero light, which is black, which is the same if with any color. And the blacks, you can see the darkest areas are maybe here in the shadows of the window, in the shadows of the eyebrow there. So that's where it's gone from this kind of chilly grey steely blue almost to black, and then when it's the light is taken away completely, it's white. But instead of a black and white photograph, which has tones of grey, this is a blue and white photograph, if you like, or why not blue and black, which replaces the grey by another tone. So I've chosen blue. What does blue do? Well, blue chillies things down, makes things seem colder. It's the sort of effect you get when you're shooting under a cloudy sky and your camera doesn't take that into account, and all those people come out with these rather chilly, almost blue tones to them, and if you want it to look like it's a sunny day, you have to bump that up and say to the camera or to your software or to your printing process, sorry, could you make it look a bit warmer? And we use warm, that means inject a bit of orange, make it a bit more orange. But the opposite is also true, and I wanted this rather forlorn, chilly, resigned look, and I felt that the grey, the chilly blue was a nice way to do that. So I chose that, turned it monochrome using this chilly blue tone. Then you have to play around with various effects, deciding on how much you want the background to be blown out. What I wanted in the original, if you look at the original, you can see that there was much less contrast for one thing, and also the face was a bit dark here. It was getting a bit tricky to see all those details, and just have a look at the details on the face there. Not as sharp perhaps as we would like, not as striking, not as hitting you in the face, and then you look at that and it's much more so. Of course the background's also been punched up a bit. If you do look at this, you see that's pretty fuzzy. You've got detail here. You see where it's blown out into pure white along these bars here in the final one? You've actually got the detail there, but I didn't want that. I wanted a much harder hitting photograph. So there it is. I think I'm running out of time. So I hope you like that one. A little bit different to some of the others. Looking for a statue. Statues, as I say, it's a way of getting around this problem of not being allowed to put human elements into photographs with faces, because faces belong to other people officially. All these statues that are scattered around the place, well, why not try and humanize those? And that gets you around the problem of not being able to include people in your photograph where you can recognize them. So I often wonder about this guy or gal and what they really think about sitting in front of this famous old church, having pigeons pooping on their head. That's it for this time. See a good quality version of this on the blog at parissetmefree.blogspot.com. Do leave comments if you like, and see you next time.
Depuis que je suis à Paris, le jour et la nuit, je suis gris. J'ai compris la douceur de vivre. Je suis fou de joie, je suis ivre. Depuis que je suis à Paris.